Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Showing off my new Legend of Zelda t-shirt that I got at the Nintendo store. Remember a bunch of episodes back when I made that special trip in and made a reservation to go buy all the Animal Crossing stuff? I finally caved and bought this shirt because I'd been seeing it a long time and I'd always liked it, but didn't want to spend all the money on it. And then when I went back that second time to get the pocket tee with Timmy and Tommy in the pocket, I said, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to get this, because it's really cute. It's a nice logo, but, see, it has a little link on there, down at the bottom, and it's super cute. Toon Link, my favorite. So, I couldn't resist. I wanted to start with a quick movie review, which I haven't done in a while, but we watched Borat 2. I'm not going to do the whole long title because I can't remember it and it's long and annoying. But it premiered on Amazon Prime, so it probably would have been in theaters, so we would have gone to see it, and then I would have reviewed it normally, but it's on Amazon Prime, so we have that, so we just watched it. It's really funny. I wasn't sure because, you know, making fun of America and the government and Trump and everything, it's sort of tricky for me personally because I no longer find any of it funny. Like in the beginning it was like, oh okay, this is a joke, how did he get elected president, this is literally a joke. But then it's not, and then hundreds of thousands of people died and continue to die, and it's just not really that funny to me anymore, so I was kind of wary going into it, knowing that it's going to, you know, comment on current events. And it does get very current, because while they were filming it, COVID happened. So, it's all very current. And, it's still funny. There were some bits that are just, you know, like, you see a rally and stuff, and it's just like, well, that's just kind of sad, and it makes me angry. But he does find the humor in it, and it does have a good story, and it's very entertaining, and it's very funny, and I recommend checking it out. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free. I believe it's also available to rent from all the various other, you know, Google, Apple, Amazon, etc. And you can just rent it. But it's very funny, so check it out. I will say also that I was excited when I went to the Amazon app in the TV and I saw that it had the little HDR logo in it, and I thought, oh, we can watch this in HDR. So it'll be high dynamic resolution, and I was like, yay, it'll be like HDR, it's supposed to be bright and crisp and clear and like super amazing and rich colors and deep blacks and bright brights, and no, it turns out that's not how it is. It came on, the little HDR logo came up in the corner, and I know for a fact that it never at any point did the streaming bump back resolution to 1080 because it stayed HDR the whole time, because HDR is apparently very dim and dark. Like they turned the brightness down and all the scenes were happening, like it was all very crisp and clear but dim. Like they turned the brightness down, or everything was happening in overcast weather or in the dark. I did adjust it from Cinema HDR to normal HDR, which brightened it some, but I didn't want to start dicking around with like the brightness controls and stuff, so we just watched the movie dim, and you sort of get used to it, but it's still, I'm just like, what is this? I thought 4K HDR was supposed to be like bright and crazy and super awesome with color and brightness and sharpness, and this just felt very muted and dim and dark, like, and I don't get it. It also made me realize that I think I didn't pick the right television when I went shopping, because this television, there was no way for me to say, don't do HDR, just do 1080. I don't want the high resolution. I don't want high dynamic range. I could have, you know, there was no way to do that. That I could find on my TV, because my TV is like clearly one of those like very like user-friendly, everything's automatic, we'll do it all for you, don't worry, you know, for the general public, and I'm like, ugh, I probably should have bought a different television that gave me a little more control over, like, the resolutions and stuff. You know, I appreciate that it's automatically upscaling stuff, so even DVDs look pretty good. But I would like to be able to turn something like that off to make it more watchable. I did for a moment consider streaming it through the Chromecast onto the TV from, like, the computer or my phone or something, but I was like, never mind, we'll just let this go. So I'm slightly disappointed with this whole HDR 4K thing. It doesn't seem to really be wowing me. Also, as far as movies go, as you remember, I got the Friday the 13th box set, and I have been working my way through it, intending to watch the entire series, including the remake, before Halloween, or by Halloween. And I'm doing well. I'm like halfway through. Hit a snag when I got to 5, because 5 is kind of crap. But then I quickly followed it up with 6, which is like one of the better ones. So, but because of all of the Friday the 13th watching, I've not actually played a lot of games. Like in the evening after work, when I would normally sit down and play a game for an hour or so, I sit down and I watch a Friday the 13th movie. Sorry. So there wasn't a whole lot of gaming going on. Obviously, I'm still playing Animal Crossing every day because it's Animal Crossing and I play it every day, and that's just the way my life is. So, but there was no... I haven't touched Ghost of Tsushima's Legend mode because I don't do multiplayer, and even though I keep being tempted by it, and I'm like, oh, I should try it, just to see. But then the idea of like going on a raid or doing a little mission with like some rando on the internet who's not even going to like use the microphone to talk or anything, it's like you're just doing it on your own with some rando who's sort of helping you, but you don't communicate, because that nobody ever does. Like that doesn't really appeal to me. I don't know. But it might have been just the thing to get me to November and Spider-Man. But I tried Vampire, if you're feeling pretentious. I'm going to call it Vampire now because I'm over it. I tried playing, and I got to a mission where they're like, hey, go find these chemicals to make an antiseptic, and you'll find all that stuff in the morgue. So you go over to the building, and you work your way through the building, exploring it, finding what you need to find, killing some vampires along the way, because, you know, they're everywhere. And I got to... Well, wait, first. On my way to the morgue building, I happened to pass by a garden where a vampire was eating somebody. And I was like, oh, let me go kill him. And he killed me. Now that was half my fault because I hadn't played it for like almost a week, so I kind of forgot the controls and I was trying to heal myself, but I ended up using my power to attack him instead, and it was like, oops. So he killed me, and I was annoyed. Then it's like the longest load time to get your game restarted. It's so horrible. I mean, the load times in the game aren't great, but this was just atrocious. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go into the morgue building and I'm not going to go near him. Maybe he's a little higher level and I shouldn't have tried that at my lower level. So I go inside, and inside the morgue, as I'm exploring and collecting things, there are vampires. I fight them. It's fine. It's not great because the controls are not great and the combat is clunky and not great. And I get all the way down into the basement and find myself in a boss fight. And from what I gathered, I think it looked like the boss was level 7 and I was like level 4, I think. Maybe 5, but probably 4. But anyway, the boss's level was higher than mine. I tried to put up a good fight, but it was not working, and he eventually killed me. And I said, ah, hell. So I said, let me try it again. And when it eventually, after the interminable load time, finally got back to the game, I found myself at the beginning of the morgue, like at the entrance. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, do I have to go around and like collect everything again and then like get the key to the basement again? Like, that's super annoying. I don't know if I would have had to do any of that because immediately there was another vampire there, and you had to kill the vampires again to get down to the basement. Which is why I thought, well, maybe I was going to have to like go do all the collecting again, since it restored the vampires and I had to kill them again, which is super irritating. And then there were 2 of them on me at the same time, and then they just killed me, and I basically said, fuck this. Like, this isn't fun. Like, this is just irritating. And to me, the game, while it's a fascinating gameplay element to say, oh, you're too weak, you need to level up. Well, to level up, you have to start killing people. And I'm like, okay, like, that's a nice moral quandary to say, well, who do you kill? And who do you let live? But I haven't met anybody that I've been... Well, there was that one guy that I was like, I could have killed him, but I didn't, because I was like, well, let me explore, because you're supposed to, like, talk to them and build up their characters and get more mysteries solved for them, and then you get even more experience points for drinking them. And I'm like, so at least in the beginning of the game, I would think that it wouldn't be so difficult, because you shouldn't want to kill too many people in the beginning, because you'd want to build them up and get more experience points for them. But clearly, I should have started this in story mode, which is the super easy version, where the combat is really easy, and then I could enjoy the story and the characters, because they've created this whole intricate web of characters that all have relationships to each other, and they all have like multiple dialogue options, and there's lots of mysteries to unlock with each of them, and side quests with some of them, and it's like this whole elaborate story that they've created. Unfortunately, to enjoy that, you have to like slog through the crappy controls and the terrible combat, and I was just like, I don't think it's worth it. So maybe at some point, if I decide to go back to it, I'll start over in easy mode and try to enjoy the story, and maybe the combat won't be quite so rough, and I won't need to level up quite as much, because I don't want to kill people. Because I want to still talk to them and get to know them and solve their mysteries. And then eventually maybe I won't like somebody, and then I'll kill them. But anyway, Vampire is staked through the heart, and because there's only a few more weeks before I'll be playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, speaking of which, I got very excited when I saw a banner ad that was like, $10 reward certificate for pre-ordering these new games. And I thought, ooh, can I get a $10 reward certificate for pre-ordering Spider-Man? Because I will. No. The pre-order coupon, they'll give you a $10 rebate if you purchase like the new games like Cyberpunk or Assassin's Creed Valhalla that are $60. Spider-Man Miles Morales is only $50, so there's no reward for that. But I did end up ordering it through Best Buy anyway, because at GameStop I could have just walked around the corner a few blocks and picked it up, but I don't have anything to trade in, so it would have been full price, and Best Buy and Amazon are both saying that I can have it on release day, which is a Thursday for some reason. But I went with Best Buy because I can get money towards an eventual rewards certificate, which I just got one. I had $10 off, but I used that on my replacement PlayStation controller, as you might recall from the previous episode. So that's on its way, so I've only got a few weeks left. So what I decided to do was I just took a look through my library of games that I have purchased or added to my library through PlayStation Plus, and I saw that I had the Amnesia collection, which, you know, I've heard a lot about, and I feel like I started it at some point a long time ago, maybe on the Mac, because I remembered when I started playing the first Amnesia game, I remembered like the very, 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 very beginning. But I didn't play it for very long, I don't know why. But I'd gotten it, I think, from PlayStation Plus at some point. It was free with the Plus, so I was like, fine. So I downloaded that. It took a little while, like 45 minutes or something. It was annoying. But I played some Picross in the meantime. But I started playing that, and because I wanted something spooky for Halloween. And I don't know how long Amnesia actually is, but I'm hoping that it's a little on the shorter side, and maybe I can get through it before Spider-Man comes out. But it's fun. I started playing it in the dark, and it's all spooky, and it's all creepy, and whatever. I haven't gotten too scared yet, although there was one bit where I heard a monster. I haven't seen one yet, because I'm still very early on in the game. I literally started it yesterday. So, I haven't seen a monster. I think I saw like a shape like move like this through a doorway. And it didn't come for me, it went that way. But I heard it, and that startled me. There was another bit where there was like a loud noise, like something fell from the ceiling or something, and I jumped. So that's fun. But we'll see how that goes. And that hopefully will get me to Spider-Man, and then I can start saving people in New York City again. That's it for this week. Come back next time. I'll let you know how I'm getting along with Amnesia and if I've gone insane or not. And I'll talk about something else. Find out then. Bye!